Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1. How nice is it to be sitting here talking about winning a game of football? It has been a while in the Premier League. You have to go all the way back to the game against Sheffield United to be talking about a win. Fantastic. Long overdue for us Toffees to be talking about this, isn't it? And the crazy thing was, it was actually it was probably more comfortable today. It was probably more comfortable than certainly than the score made out. And obviously the last whatever was a lot more comfortable than it was against Bournemouth. If only we'd had that composure against Bournemouth, and if only we'd made those subs against Bournemouth, then I think we would have got 3 points easily that day as well. But we got over the line. Palace didn't really. I think in the whole game there was 3 big chances, and I think probably they were all taken. So yeah, it was one of those. It wasn't a game full of lots of amazing football or anything. It was a typical Premier League sort of late September, October game when everyone is feeling, as you know, it's just feeling the way through, and the quality is where it is. Do you know what I mean? It was 2 bang average teams. And like I said in my match reaction, if you've watched me Glasgow reaction, it's funny that no one's talking about Crystal Palace being like a relegation for the team, because they're not. They'll have enough. And we've started the season with that idea of it being about relegation and falling into the trap of talking about relegation far too much. When maybe the manager, the director of football, and the entire club should have been talking. I mean, you know, I'm not saying because we won today, we'd be fine, but you know what I mean. Like they were dreadful. They were dreadful today, but they weren't worse than Leicester last week, and Bournemouth were rubbish as well. And you know, when you go, we should have, like, the Corey should have put the cherry on the top at the end for us there today. So comfortably have won. But it's it does show you that the Premier League is not full of these stellar teams. And I think if you talk yourself down, it can cause consequences. It has consequences, because then I think we all sort of buy into that in many ways, because that's the rhetoric coming out the football club. Stay up, get into the new stadium. Stay up, get into the new stadium. So there'll be lots of games like this this season. I think it's important we make sure we don't talk ourselves down, and that's why people, I think, have discussed the manager, because they believe that he's not good enough to take this team where maybe this team could go with someone who's a bit more proactive. And when you watch the first half today, you'd have to, the first half was dreadful. First half was absolutely dreadful today. But listen, we got the 3 points, and we move on to next week. And if we can get something next week, then things are starting to improve, obviously ahead of that international break, which will be coming up, another international break. Let's get into it. Jordan Pickford, lots of nervousness about Jordan Pickford at the moment. The goal was a cross to the back post. Now, again, what I would say about this is what I said last week. I think it's he's been told not to come off his line, and it's interesting that they got their goal today from a position that we get a lot of our set-piece goals, is ball to the back post, headed back, and someone tries to get a knockdown. Now, typically when we do that, I don't see too many goalies coming off the line to deal with it. They try and leave it to the centre-backs. And then this goal was should have been dealt with. Lindstrom should have dealt with it on the edge of the box. Never went in strong enough, and that was the story of his day. But there was a lot of nervousness and a lot of criticism of Jordan Pickford or not commanding his line. I think it changed in the second half. Now, it'd be interesting, I said this last week, it'd be interesting to know whether that's down to him or he's being told to just stay on his line and let the centre-backs deal with it. That would be interesting to know, because it does seem like it's a tactic, because when something's happening again and again and again, you've got to put it down to being a tactic. But it cost us again from a set piece. I was thinking today, I think we're a lot more vulnerable on set pieces this season because we haven't got Onana. I think Onana dealt with a lot of the set pieces issues by just his sheer presence. I think we've been made weaker by that. But I do think Jordan's just been he's I said it a couple of times. I don't think he's been playing poorly. I just don't think he's quite settled down, and there's a little bit of a nervousness around the whole of the defence. He never really had to make a big save today. He made saves he should make. There was another opportunity just after they'd scored where a very similar corner came in and he didn't go for it. And that to me tells me that it is a tactic. They are saying to him, stay on his line. You stay on your line, let the defenders deal with it. Don't come out, don't come flying around, flapping about, because that'll cause extra problems. Now, whether he's on board with that, I don't know. Whether that's something that he wants to be part of, I don't know. Maybe he said at half time, this isn't working, we're not strong enough. I don't think it mattered last season when Jared, Branthwaite and Tarkowski were there all season. It wasn't really a problem. I just think it's a byproduct of how we've started the season and how weak we've looked in offset pieces. I do think we'll get better on that because we'll have Branthwaite, who's a lot more aggressive than Michael Keane. I think aggression is a really important word. I think today in the first half, there was such a lack of aggression from the whole team, and it's something that we saw second half where we came straight out of the traps. Thought we started the game really slowly today and allowed Palace to get a foothold in the game. But I think it's all about aggression and with the centre-backs. So whether that's something that continues, fans certainly don't like it. Fans want to see the goalkeeper commanding the area. I don't know whether Jordan Pickford's got the physicality to do that. I don't know, but yeah, I think it just creates a nervousness, and when people see the same things again and again, it does, of course, worry them when they see that, because it's another goal from a set piece, another 2 weeks in a row that we've let a ball come into the box. The centre backs haven't dealt with it, or the players supposed to deal with it haven't dealt with it, and it's ended up in the back of the net. And Jordan Pickford will get part of the blame for that because he doesn't come off his line. But I've seen enough of that for me to look at it and go, this is something that he's been told to do effectively. So I don't know who you blame for that. But he didn't really have much else to do today. Just normal saves you'd expect him to make, really. Yeah. I thought he was a lot more aggressive in the first half. He came in and took things. All in all, he was fine today. Just the goal's massive, isn't it? That's it's such a big thing. That what can you do? It's such an important moment in the game. So I'd give Jordan Pickford a 6 for today. He obviously decided to start Ashley Young, who is... It's obviously split opinion. Ashley, I thought he was fine last week, and I thought he was fine today, pretty much. He played 90 minutes. That's why the manager likes him, because he plays 90 minutes. I thought he was fine today. Didn't do anything stupid. Didn't do anything irresponsible, let's say. Just done his job for the most part. You can see his heat map there, right up and down that right-hand side. So he has got up and down the right today. So he's done that. 2 out of 5 ground duels, 1 out of 1 aerial duels. I thought he was fine today. I thought he was fine. I didn't really see too much of an issue with him at all today. He just gets on with it for me, pretty much. I know people don't like him. I know people think he's a accident waiting to happen. But I thought he was good last week, and I thought he was fine this week. As I said, he plays 90 minutes when he plays, unless he gets sent off, which I think has only happened twice in his Everton career. So yeah, he was fine to me. He was fine, absolutely fine for me today. No real issues whatsoever with him at all today. So I would give him. I would give Ashley Young a 6.7 for today's performance. Michaelenko on the other side, quite similar. Again, it's been a stop-start game for him. Season for him, sorry. Didn't play last week. Back in today, which is what you'd expect. Ashley Young is the backup. And Michaelenko was again fine today. Couple of moments where he could have done a little bit better. Only 1 out of 4 ground duels, 1 3 out of 7. It has been a stuttering start for him. Injuries and sickness and stuff like that might take him a little bit of time to get back up to speed. You can see his heat map there. It's a little bit. On Ashley Young's, there was a lot of red. That's a little bit more cloud based, I'd say. Little bit of red in our box, but yeah, he was fine. He was fine. He didn't do anything like terrible, and just got on with doing his job basically. So Michaelenko, I would give a 6.5 for today. James Tarkowski, one very dangerous tackle in the box in the first half, which I was a little bit holding my breath about. He did win the ball, but his follow through took the player out. And you just think sometimes, did you really have to do that? Could you have just won the ball without, the follow through? 3 out of 6 ground duels won, 7 out of 10 aerial duels won. So very commanding. Aggression, quite aggressive in the second half. In the header, one big header towards the end. They had a set piece and he just like boomed it away. Looked, dare I say, a bit more like himself today, playing his own game and not having to worry about anybody else. Wasn't perfect. Had a couple of moments, as I said. Wasn't perfect, but just having a look there. Block shots 9, interceptions 3, total tackles 2. So pretty steady today with having his mate back in the side. And there was a lot of, you can see his heat map there. There's a lot of stuff going on in the other box as well because of all, the set pieces and stuff we had. So yeah, pretty steady for me today. James Tarkowski, I would give a 7 for today. Jared Branthwaite back in the side. Everybody really, really happy to see him in the side today. 90 minutes, which is just massive, isn't it? Not even a sign really of any issues, to be honest. Just got stronger as the game went on. 4 out of 4 aerial duels won. 4 out of 4 ground duels, 3 out of 6 aerial duels. That Mateta is a big fella, like. Just oozed class again. He oozed class, 84% pass completion. He he just looks great, doesn't he? He just knows exactly how to use his body. There's his heat map there. Just knows how to use his body. Knows exact. His timing is just so good. His timing is impeccable. He knows exactly when to get the right side of the forward. Knows exactly when to put his body in. Knows when to slide in. Knows when to. For a player, for a lad of his age, the composure. We spoke about this all last season. The composure that he has is incredible, and I think that's what makes him. That's what separates him from other players, I think, and that's why he's come back in today and straight away. He's telling people where to be. He's organising. You know, he's picking the ball up. He's playing little really good. Instead of just playing a simple, so there's a lot of passing around the back four in the first half. But instead of just playing a simple ball to Tarkowski, he's playing a nice ball to the fullback, and it's just a lot more cultured, player than what we're used to seeing, and that's what separates him. I thought, as I said, I thought he just got so much stronger as the game went on, and it's fantastic to have him back. It was a little bit disappointing that we conceded with him in the side, but I think him and many others just shook that off. And in the second half, Palace never really had too many chances at all. They didn't have too many chances after they scored. I think they had one more chance and a few speculative shots from outside the box that Jordan Pickford dealt with. But I think it's so much better having him back in the side, and I thought today he just looked every bit of the player that we know he is. And I think obviously there's been a lot of build up to him coming back in the side as well. There's been a lot of what if he doesn't come back straight away, and what if it takes him a little bit of time, and even to the point where what if he's a one season wonder in many ways. But I think coming back from being out injured, not injured, sorry, he had an operation, which obviously has kept him out. So that gives him the ability to just come back into the side rather than it be something that like Patterson's got, where you've got to bring them back slowly. And it's all really, really good. So fantastic to have him back. I'd give him a 7.7 for today's performance. And he just calmed everyone down, I think. Fantastic. The crowd absolutely loved him being back. We need a good song for Jared Branthwaite. We need a good song. I'm still disappointed they didn't give him the number 5 shirt in the summer as well. I think they should have done that. Number 5 shirt, new song, get a new contract as well. Abdoulaye Doucouré kept his place in the team after last week. Decent all-round game. 3 out of 7 ground duels, 4 out of 5 aerial duels. Mostly in the second half. I thought in the first half, the midfield was getting overran a little bit. It just wasn't working. We were letting them have too much of the ball, letting them dominate, and then the midfield was getting ran over a little bit. Thought second half he improved. Massive chance missed, the 2-1. Well, he never even missed it, did he? Because he did exactly what McNeil and Calvert-Lewin did at Villa, where he's wanted too much time and he's allowed the defender to get back. He never actually looked comfortable when he got one-on-one, if I'm honest. He broke through and he just looked like he wanted everything to slow down to his pace. Whereas, top class players, they just get through and put them in. That's what they do. That's the difference, isn't it? Just see his heat map there. So, a lot in the middle on that right hand central area there. But I think playing in that role suits him. I think it suits him more than playing in the higher position now. I think if he's going to play, he's going to play there. And as I said, second half, I thought there was a lot more aggression. I'm going to use that word a lot because I think that's the thing that was missing in the first half that we had in the second half: aggression or tempo to our game. Good old-fashioned Everton being 1-0 down at half-time and coming out in the second half and being on the front foot straight from the start. So I thought he did all right second half in that role. Maybe not so much in the first half, but as I said, he certainly improved. And yeah, We'll see whether the manager continues. I know a lot of people would have liked Tim Irbunam in there today, but I understand why Tim Irbunam wasn't in the team. I didn't pick him in my side personally. I do feel like now that the midfielders have come back, I do understand he has played. He has started the season well, a lot better than what we thought he would. But I just think that certainly thinking of 2, I'm not 100% sure that works for him. I don't really think he's a defensive player. And he does tend to tire around the 70-minute mark. So I had no issues with him not starting the game today. Decore, what did I give to Decore? Did I give score to Decore? 6.8 for Decore. Mangala played 83 minutes. Decent game. 88% pass accuracy for 51 touches. 2 out of 2 ground duels. 7 out of 10 ground duels. Didn't win any aerial duels. Dribble attempts 2, both successful. Yeah, nice and steady game. Again, I think he'll play a lot this season. I think he'll stay in the sides and see heat map there. A lot of red blodgers. Gets on the ball and keeps the ball. Doesn't tend to give it away too much. I think that's really important. And I think we've got the options in midfield now. I think that's really important in that too, that we can have different players for different maybe occasions, but also we've got the players to come off the bench now as well, and that's massively important. That may be the difference between this game and the Bournemouth game, although in the Bournemouth game we could have brought James Garner on. But it's going to test those players now. Disagana Gay, James Garner, Decore, Irbunam. We've got 5. Really, and obviously I think Decore and Irbunam can play slightly higher as well. So it's going to be interesting, but I think Mangala's, I think he's going to be one who stays in there, because I just think he's got the experience. He's exactly the right age. He's got exactly the right experience. Belgium international, knows the Premier League, knows the nuts and bolts, and I think he just knows his way around the football pitch really well. And whereas maybe the manager might look at it and go, well, Adissa Garner Gay, we can pull him out, bring him in. Garner, let him get back to fitness. Decore, is he the right fit? I think and Tim Irbunam, has he got enough experience? I think with Mangala, I think he ticks a lot of the boxes. And I thought he had a good game today, so I would give him a 7.2 for today's performance. In the 3 ahead of him, let's start with Jesper Lindström. Wasn't a good day for Jesper Lindström, let's be honest. The last couple of games I thought he was picking up, and we've bigged him up a little bit this week. He was dreadful. He was really, really dreadful today, and it was tough. It was really tough to watch, because no one wants to, he's got the start, he's got the shirt. No one wants to see a player. I thought after last week, I thought this kind of performance, he wouldn't, we wouldn't see this kind of performance from him. I thought he would have understood the level that is required physically in the Premier League, and today he just looked so weak. He kept on going down. The tackle on the edge of the box that led to the goal, that he should win that. That's his 70-30, and he somehow loses it because he's not strong enough. There was one when he went down on the edge of on just inside the halfway line, and we didn't even kick the ball out for him. And he was so weak. He looked like he lost every single 50-50. And it was breaking down. It broke down a few times because of that. And you need, this isn't Sean Dyche's teams are not the most elegant of teams. We appreciate that. And you have to win your battles to play. And he didn't win any battles today whatsoever. And as I said, he left us with... He really did leave us... He lost possession 10 times in the first half. And that's not, if you're at the other end of the pitch, all right, you can make allowances for that, but it was all around the halfway line. He was really, really poor today, like properly poor, and it was absolutely no surprise that he got took off at half time, because he was offering absolutely nothing. And I think you've got to have a shape. You've got to have a shape to your team, and he gave us no shape. It's why, like, when Dom goes off for Beto, which I just don't think is going to happen anymore, but when you see Dom go off for Beto, we just lose the shape. And with him in the team, we had no shape. We had no right-hand side. Ashley Young can't go past them because he can't trust that he's going to get back and support. So it just leaves you with no shape on that right-hand side. And I'm so disappointed today with his performance, because you just expect, after a month or so, or 2 months training every day with physical players, that when you step into the Premier League, you're going to be able to handle yourself. And I thought last week, as I said, I thought he turned the corner, but he was so poor. He was so poor today. Honestly, I'd have to give him like a 2 for putting his boots on the right feet. He was really, really bad today. And if it's, I don't feel bad giving him that score, because that's what he deserves, but he's got to massively improve. He's got to massively improve, because he can't go down. He can't go in for 50-50s or whatever and then just go on the floor and like throw his arms up. And I know Pickford had a go at him a couple of times. For the goal, he had the go at him, and another time he had the go at him for just not being strong enough, for being far too weak. It wasn't a good day for him at all. On the other side, in Dye, and this is like the polar opposite. In Dye, you just see the absolute opposite of Lindstrom. You see a player who understands, who's played in the lower divisions of English football and understands the battle, and actually wants the battle, loves the battle, because actually engaging with the opposition helps him, because not only does he win the 50-50, but then he has a nice tick to get out of it. And Dyer's just like Lindstrom's he's got to look at what Ndiaye's doing and how he can affect games, because it's like night and day. And both of them might have the same level of talent, but one of them understands the fight and the other one doesn't understand the fight, and that's... What can you do about that? I don't know if you can do anything about that. That's got to be part of your game. That's got to be part of, wanting to do more. Yeah, had a decent game. Some lovely runs again. 53 touches, 91% pass accuracy. Not too much in terms of, getting shots off today or anything like that. But always a threat the whole game. Always a threat cutting in from the left hand side, and it's so important now that he has come in. You can see how much on his heat map there on the edge of the box, getting on the ball. It's him being able to play there now. The manager clearly trusts him from not starting like the first couple of games, but the manager obviously trusts him, and then that allows Dwight McNeil to play central, and it just gives us a better balance. It really does give us a better balance. We've got a threat. He holds onto the ball. That means Michalenko can get... watching today's tournament made me just like, could you imagine with this fella if we had a Baines or a Dean holds the ball up and then can play it out wide? And that's no disrespect to Michalenko, but Michalenko's just not that type of player. I thought he had a really good game as well. Loves it. Really enjoys it. You can tell. Really enjoys the battle. Really enjoys the fight. Really enjoys the 50-50s, picking it up, taking people on. Works his socks off. Never gives up. Prepared to do his defensive duties. And, as I said, can be. I've said it a couple of weeks. Could be a big star here. Can be the kind of person that people want to get on the back of this year. So Certainly, I mean, first half was a little bit unforgettable, forgettable. But second half, really done well for me. So, and I'd give it 8 for today. Dwight McNeil, the match winner. First half, I was like, oh, he's not getting into this game at all. It's bypassing him. Nothing really was working. But to come out second half and they've been fired up. And straight away he's in the game, and as soon as that shot left his foot, everybody knew, and certainly where I was, that it was a goal. It was a fantastic finish. And then the second goal, it just steadies it and then just smashes it in. Lovely finish with that left foot. And what's that? 3 goals now, top goal scorer, isn't he? I think so. Well, he is top goal scorer, isn't he, for us? So. Lovely finish, and again, it's about the balance. And second half, with having Harrison there, it's about him laying in that position. He does look a lot better central. It's not easy. First half, it was like he's getting on that left foot and doing the little circles, but second half, things just changed, and he just got into the right areas. And I think that's all it's about with him, just getting into the right areas. I thought he had a really good game, and manager took him off as well, which was the right thing to do. He's trying with the assists. He's getting the shots off. 48 touches, 70% pass accuracy. He's not the worst in the world in the position he's playing, trying to do different things. But I just think we all know it suits him. Or we're all seeing, that it suits him a lot better. You can just see his heat map there. I mean, there's actually a lot of red on the right-hand side, as opposed to, he likes picking it up in that pocket and then cutting in on that left foot. You just see a lot more of his game. I think he's enjoying the game a lot more because he looks like he's not getting boxed into that left wing and then has those responsibilities. That's why when it's done my starting 11 about having 2 in midfield who can really protect and allow him so he doesn't have to get back and he doesn't have to defend too much. He still does, obviously, but his all-round game today was, we'll see it again in the second half, really good, and obviously he's the match winner. Can't really get, and I have to give him, he's a 9, isn't he, for today? The goals were huge goals, and they've got us over the line for our first 3 points. So it's looking good in that position. It's not perfect, obviously, but 2 really good goals today. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it took him a little bit of time to get into this game. Like, he didn't get into it till like the last 10 minutes. Wasn't his best game. Isolated for a lot of the game. I think he only had 31 touches. A lot of the game, I thought, I used that word again, aggression. A lot of the game I was watching it, going, you're not aggressive enough, Dom. But then towards the end of the game, he started to get aggressive. The last 10 minutes, doing a lot of, it felt like he was doing a lot of running around to try and make sure their defenders didn't have any time on the ball, to make sure it wasn't coming back, making sure he was doing those doggy runs to make sure he could stop them just hoofing the ball up the field. He did feel a little bit isolated today, but I don't think it was for the want of trying. I just think with Dom, he has to be more aggressive. There was a couple of, nothing was working for him first half, like everybody else. And then second half, I just thought he was trying to make things happen, but it didn't always happen. But then as the game went on, I thought he worked hard for the team, and I think that's important. I was made up that he wasn't subbed off. I think that's massively important, that he stays on the pitch, gives us that shape. And I think that's the most important thing about Dom, is he does give us that shape, and he does allow players around them to do their job. Because I just think when Bettel's on the pitch, the ball breaks down far too often, and players are trying to get up the pitch, and then suddenly they're having to try to get back because we've lost the ball. Don't think that happens as much when Dom was on the pitch. There wasn't too many chances for him today, sadly, but when you're playing up front on your own, that's not always the case anyway. So Dom, I would give a 6.7 for today's performance. The subs, Jack Harrison obviously came on a hard time, got himself an assist, give us a much better shape. Thought he looked up for it, thought he looked lively, thought he looked straight away, he wanted to get in the game. And I thought, he's got something to prove. It's good. Lindstrom pushing him now. Harrison might start next week, but then Lindstrom might start the week after. If they're pushing each other for that position, that's absolutely fantastic. And Harrison coming on the pitch at half time and having a good game is so important. Absolutely so important for the squad. So Jack Harrison, I thought, done really well. Second half, as I said, kept the shape, but was a real threat. Didn't give the ball away too softly either. And always was trying to do things and was in the game straight away and give us that little bit of tempo. So Jack Harrison, I would give a 7. James Garner and Garner Gay came on about the same time, didn't he? I thought this was a really good sub. Both of them are really, really good subs. They didn't have to do much. They didn't really get on the ball much. They did very little between them for that time. But I thought that's the kind of sub that would have won us the Bournemouth game. I know we had less options on that day. I think we had James Garner, who I thought that day should have come on the pitch. But that was the right subs. They were the right subs. We kept Ndiaye on, and we got hold of the midfield for the most part. And I thought both of those subs were really important to give us that job. So I'd give both of them a 6.5. But they were the right subs. So it was really nice to see the manager make those decisions. Because I thought they were absolutely crucial to get us over the line. Just kept a nice shape. Just kept that nice shape. Got hold of the midfield and got us the 3 points. So there you go. I think that's our first win, isn't it? That's our first win. Sorry, not just our first win, but our first win when we've been behind under Sean Dyche as well. So, listen, it caps off a nice week. It caps off a positive week, and we can hopefully look upwards now. Hopefully, get a decent result next week, and get the right back situation sorted as well. And we'll see what happens. So, happy with that. 3 points. Not in the bottom 3. You can all watch Match of the Day. You can all watch our videos. We'll be doing the final word on Monday. We'll be live on YouTube at 1:15. So make sure you join us then. Thanks for watching. Go and check out Baz's videos. See you later.